ladies and gentlemen. I'm going live. I don't know if I want to go live. So far, it shows 0. I won't be. I may not be on long. Last time I said that, it was 2 hour long live. Give me practice for people come in here. Alrighty, you're watching Mr. KARRY live on the YouTube. Or hello, you're watching Mr. KARRY live on the YouTube. Oh, I got a person in here. Okay. This is scary and nervous. Ooh. STD. What's going on, man? I'll shut my camera off for a minute because my nose and my legs and my belly itches, and I don't want to itch my belly button in front of everybody. It's so good to see you, man. Yeah, don't hesitate to share your channel. I don't even know if I can do it. Oh, it don't give me. What? It only gives me pin message, remove, chat activity. Well, that sucks. So I can't share your channel. I'm sorry. Hey, Sniper Dog on duty. I'm just having my camera off and on. Like I was saying earlier, I just got a shower for the first time in like 4 or 5 days. Because when you're in a lot of pain, you don't feel like you're just. I don't want none my wife or anybody helping me in the shower. I'd rather it be a nurse. Love you too, man. Yeah, if you got a channel, you can share it on here. It don't matter to me. Kathy. Hello, Kathy. Yeah, if Sniper Dog and STD are my friends on another part of YouTube, and Sniper Dog and STD, Kathy is one of my friends on like one man band Looper Music, and it's an inside joke about pickle because she loves pickles and loves shoot carrots and all that stuff, which my son was thinking of that. We got a bag of carrots that's been sitting there. My son's supposed to give to his rabbit, and he hasn't. But yeah, you can check out STD if you don't know him, Kathy and Sniper Dog. It's up to y'all. I try to promote anybody's channel, even if they're mean to me. If a couple of those people show up, Tav won't be one of them. But my heart and stuff goes out to him, despite, try to make this a positive channel. Mr. KARRY doesn't need to be talking about, Tav or nothing like that. I'm talking to myself to the second person. But yeah, having things like that happen is not really cool. So hope that everything gets worked out. Nobody deserves to go through what they're going through, even if you pick your nose on a public sidewalk or something. It's in only thing that I got is in my description, but it don't give me a chat thing like it does on a computer, Sniper Dog. Only thing I got is like a Cash App thing on there. That's as far as I got on it. I'm just about ready to turn my camera on so y'all can see my pretty face. Because I don't know if my daughter will walk through or my son walk through, and I don't want them like giving me bunny ears either. But I should have thought of that. But I know it's in my community post somewhere. I apologize for that, Sniper Dog. But I got some interesting updates, and thank you, STD. I appreciate it. I got my brain running 50 miles a minute because this since yesterday and today, they had to switch me because I tried telling them for months, that my pain pump implant was not acting right. And every time, when you go to the doctor, right? And you're hurting and all that stuff, I'm just giving that as an example. That didn't happen to me. I stayed in pain, but anyway, how you go to the doctor and some people's like, they're throwing up's let up or something. You go in, the doctor don't see nothing wrong with you, but you pooped your guts up or was in god awful pain and had to, use a crutch or make you a homemade cane or something. And anyway, this time it didn't work on his device where they give you what a bolus, and some people know what a bolus is. Is where you're allowed. It gives your pump tells you gives extra medicine, like you go to the doctor. Yeah, I don't blame you if I didn't wasn't this going on for the past 20 some years. 20 it'd be 27 September the 17th. But yeah, I didn't figure I'd be adding any of this a while back on my channel, but I think I need to start saying something and sharing. There's a guy called the Wheelchair Dad, and he's been sharing his stuff and even sharing when he's in pain. And at first, I was like really uncomfortable with that, and then I finally was like, oh, all right, here we go. That last short I did. I mean, I'm drooling. I'm glad it was not too bright in there because I don't want people seeing me drooling. But when you're hurting, that don't mean a hill of beans. I still got some coffee left. I'm trying not to be boring and talk super fast and all that. They tried to make me glow in the dark 2 years ago. Let me see. I'm gonna press a. Oh, it lets me pin comments, but yeah. My oldest son lost the charger to his mom's laptop where I'd be using it. Because I have to fill out a questionnaire. Yeah, cancer treatment. That's right, Mr. Carey. My BFF had to have pain pump implant and didn't work and ended up in the ER. Yeah, that's what I don't understand. And I don't, I've never had to sue anybody because I always had proof. Like, people lie, and stuff like that on your, like on your family and stuff. And we're not them kind of people and prove that. And so them cases are closed and stuff. But we didn't have to go on there and say, can you get us attorney fees to go after this person? We were just glad that we proved ourselves, that we're doing what we're supposed to do. We're good parents. And one accusation it was funny that I was choking out my kids or something like that. And here I am in a wheelchair at this time. Now, how the frick am I? Come here, kids, I can't reach you. And it was because when my wife was working before the car accident, she worked at a speedway in Florida. And she found a needle in the bathroom, and that worker was the last one in there. And we somehow, my wife, or how your husband and wives, or here I go, I'm back. How your husband and wives, like your wife's on the phone, you're like, oh, tell him this, oh, tell him that. You're in the background, the husband is. Oh, they ended up removing the pain pump. Yeah, this is my fourth pain pump. And I was on Dilaudid I've been on Dilaudid ever since August 2005. Because I don't know if you remember when I talked about my story or beginnings of it. I have to watch it because I don't remember what I signed when I settled my case with the workers' comp, which it ended in 2011. I think I can. Basically, at that time, I was supposed to go to Louisville, and there was no way to fight workers' comp with my attorney, and I'm already laying in my attorney's floor because I'm in so much pain, and he's taking so long with clients. So I'm laying in his floor trying to get comfortable because those manual wheelchairs just have that dip, and they're just not the best in the world at all. It's not comfortable, and I almost laid in my pain doctor's floor a couple of days ago. Yep, it was. Today's Saturday, and so it was yesterday. Yep, it was yesterday. Today's Friday because tomorrow's Sunday. Yep. Had to think really hard on that one. But I ended up having to set, they gave me 4 settlement options. And so I took the one that was like 35,000 and I got 10,000 up front. And back then, there was attorneys. You couldn't hardly find an attorney back in '99 to take a workers' comp case because in Kentucky, they were only allowed to get, if it was over 2,000, they got $2,000. I mean, if it was under, if it was, yeah, if it was over 2,000, they got 2,000. If it was under, yeah, okay. If it was under 2,000, they got 25 percent of that. So a lot of attorneys didn't take that, and it was hard to find one. I found one in Louisville, and because I was doing all the calling, and they're like, I had only seen like 2 doctors or something at that time, and they dropped me, and I had to find another attorney, and he picked my case up, which I seen more doctors, but I only got 10,000 up. I got 10,000 up front on that, and he got the 2,000 because it was over that. And so for 10 years I had to live on, I was getting 214.53 a month. And because I was getting 214.53 a month, if that was the only income, I was up a creek without a paddle. That I had to fight for my disability, which I got denied twice, and I had to use the same attorney to get approved for that. And that hearing, I know I can talk about it. I'm going from one area to another, but my hearing was funny. There was construction going on at my Social Security hearing. I'm here in my wheelchair. My mom's boyfriend at the time, now ex, and he passed away. God rest his soul. He was abusive to me and my mother, but I hope he went to the good place, if there's one. Not Epstein Island, heaven. But anyway, he was like, I'm going to say, some of y'all already know my last name, but he's like, Mr. KARRY. And I mean, he's like an 80-year-old guy, and I thought he was going to die before I was ever going to get to have the hearing done. He's like, so you got injured. I'm like praying and I'm in pain, but trying not to laugh. Then you got a vocational or whatever, voc rehab dude, and he's the one that says, yeah, I can't find any jobs for him to work. And I mean, they don't pee around about it. And I did finally get approved, stuff like that. But yeah, my workers' comp case was a joke and a half. One of the doctors hurt my case. It was in November '99. At first, he's like, he noticed Mr. KARRY walking normal, and that wasn't. I was like favoring my left leg and walking with my right leg, trying to, like just kind of like drag it along a little bit. And he's like, saying all this stuff. Well, workers' comp paid for that. And a year later in 2000, I seen that same neurosurgeon. And that money visit come out of my pocket because when you get hurt at work, they pay for your, the doctors and stuff. And, there's been rumors like, workers' comp pays off people and stuff, which I couldn't prove it. But the only thing that I could prove was that year later, that money come out of my pocket for the visit. And he basically said in his dictation that I was in pain, used legitimate 3 times. And they'll use cameras to try and prove you're not disabled. Yeah. I got an uncle that it's in Virginia. He does customizing, and he would customize government vans where they actually go in vans and they watch people that, that I guess disability and no, workers' comp stuff, I believe. And maybe, I just know he says that they watch people from, so he customized these vans that was super cool to where they have like the, computers and stuff. I didn't see like the cameras or nothing because whenever I visited, that was before my injury. That was super cool to know that he got to, convert vans and stuff to, like government where they surveil, people that's, say they're disabled and then they're over here packing some roofing and all this other stuff. But anyway, on that doctor, he supported me, and he even said that he misdiagnosed me from a year ago, and there was like people, I talked to and stuff like, well, you could sue him. You could sue him, I wasn't worried about it. All I was worried about was trying to get better and hoping that I would get back to work. At which never did get to happen. And then until like in '05 when I got my first pain pump, because I didn't, like I said, if I know STD knows, I never was pushed pain meds on or nothing like that from '99 until 2003 was when that was like the last option against the wall. My wife's crying. Am I going to have to push you the rest of my life? So I'm like, I'll go ahead and try it, because at that time they had you scared to death that, you're going to get hooked on drugs and you're going to be on the streets tweaking. I mean, that was scared you to death. But, you're hearing your wife and her words like, am I going to have to push you the rest of your life? So, but I'm the type of person I worked up until I was disabled. If I wouldn't be on SSD if I didn't have enough work credits. My dad worked until he couldn't no more when he had cancer and died. But anyway, leading up to where I'm at now, we went to, after if you watch the short where the guy gave me the bird, because 2 birds, that was funny. That's when I noticed when I done my bolus it wasn't working again, and I'm like, this ain't gonna be good. And I even said in the short, I'm like, we got my daughter to the orthopedic here in Lexington, they're checking on her hand and stuff, and my wife may have to drive. I'm not doing too well, which that's what exactly happened. And so I knew that my pain doctor had an office there, because he's even said only one ER did anything when I had any problems, was the one in Florida, in Spring Hill, Florida, there on the West Coast. What was that representation of this hat or his IQ? I have no idea. I just know, if you're talking about that doctor, I just know that was the only thing that, showed me that he admitted to misdiagnosing me, but he's not going to sit there and say they paid me more than Mr. KARRY did for the visit. But he supported me, but I could have got my stuff done a lot sooner and got help more. Not being a tweaker is why they kicked KARRY out of Florida. No. But anyway, like I said, and this is funny because this added on yesterday to my story. After we dealt with my daughter, made sure that happened, and I started going further downhill and laying down. Do you play Fortnite? Nope. My daughter does, in her room with some school friends that she goes to school with. But my wife called and asked the doctor that his office, I go to Danville, he has one in Lexington, and they're like, is the doctor in Lexington today? And she's like, yeah, okay. And so she said, you'd like for me to transfer you? And my wife said, yeah. So my wife called that office several times, and so we decided we'd just show up on the doorstep. And my wife got a wheelchair, had to get me up out of the floor, because that's where I was when I made that short. A Great SS YouTube is to learn from, is Dr. Ed. I've never heard of him. Hey, Kenneth, nice to meet you. And also, Just Muxter, you can share your page too. If Kathy's still here, he's a really good channel. Kathy is a lady I know from another part of YouTube that likes the same people I do, like the one-man band and stuff. And hello, Village. Good to see you again. And we pulled up. My wife went in. They said they would take me in. And so my wife got a wheelchair, got me in. And we go in. I tell him, I said, I'm trying to tell you, my pump's not working. And I mean, I'm like half in my chair, this wheelchair. And so he goes and gets his device, and he said, we'll give you another bolus and we'll see what happens. And usually I feel it within 3 or 4 minutes. I tell a difference. But he says, I told the nurse that come in, I said, tell him I'm not feeling nothing. All it takes about 10 minutes. 10 minutes pass. I still don't feel nothing. So he tells me that the insurance is going to have to approve him to put dye into my pump to be able to see if it's working or not. And so if it's malfunctioning, then it possibly could. What if it? I mean, I hope it don't. What if it malfunctions and starts flowing medicine? But it's the insurance or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And if it's Medtronic is the maker of a lot of medical devices. And if it's messing up, it shouldn't be my insurance responsibility. But I go the third for my pump refill. But what he had to do was he had to put me on oral meds. So I'm back on oral pain meds and drop my pump in half, of which has fentanyl in it, which he started fentanyl when I come back from Florida. Went from Dilaudid to fentanyl, and I had burning in my legs ever since then. And I've been having that since September 2023, and it's gotten worse to where, I even put on here, like I'll tell y'all, I don't think I'm doing good, or I have my kids going here, some of the channels that, I like, a mod and stuff that are on a whole bunch. And like, hey, my dad's not feeling good, well, they say don't worry about it. But anyway, I just now, yesterday, started feeling a little bit of pain relief, but they, trying, I'm not monetized or nothing, so I'm trying to figure out how to, they got me on this medicine. I was on it before, but a lower dosage, but it's the OXY, if that tells you anything, and it's at 20 milligrams, and I take it every 6 hours. And as long as I'm not too active, I'm not feeling barely a 1 on a pain level right now. I'm just tickled to death. But the thing of it is, I've been going through this a lot that I figured I'd better contact an attorney. And so I'm waiting on a call because I shouldn't have to be going through this. If my pump's malfunctioning, then they should be immediately, doing something about it, or change it out, or doing something. But this burning and stuff been going on, like I said, for 2 years, and this Bose thing not working has been going on for quite a few months. So that's the update on that they put me on oral pain meds until I go back to third and go from there. If that makes any sense. So I'm just happy. So I don't know how long it'll last, but I'm trying to cherish it while I can last. Don't tell your MDs you're at a 1. Yeah, I know. I've been to like oh, and I'm going back to that neurosurgeon that was a jerk back in 2008. I'm seeing his physician assistant. If you remember Christopher Reeves, the guy that used to be Superman, and he had that accident that paralyzed him. He flew a doctor that was here in Pulaski County all the way to California, apparently because he's the best. I'm going back to see him after years later, after they're like, well, what do you have a pain pump for? Like, acted stupid back in 2008. So hopefully they don't act stupid again. Because the only surgery I can get, it starts with an L, but I have to have $50,000 for it, and it's bile spine. And I didn't even know that surgery existed until after a car accident back in 2019. Hey, silly girl secret, you're welcome to share your channel. Ashley, good to see you. Yeah, Ashley is one of my friends I met on the music part of YouTube, and she's really cool, really nice, and silly girl secret courtship. Um, she is super cool. I like her. She does after getting into the AI, man. She's like vroom on the AI. I appreciate it, Ashley. Thank you, Muckster. Surgery high risk, yeah. Uh, what scared me to death was when I first got injured. I even inquired about an artificial disc replacement in 2001, and they give you papers this thick to see if you're a candidate for it, which I wasn't. I wasn't a candidate for it, and it wasn't approved by the FDA until 2004. So they got like, you could die of this, you could have this happen, a rejection, and I'm like, that scared me to death. I'm like, I'll just suffer because I don't want to die. But yeah, I inquired about that. Yeah, and that biospine place, yeah, I was telling you all about, is they didn't take my insurance. The only reason I was able to see him was that car accident. My notification from Facebook. Yeah, was that car accident, and in Florida it's a no fault state. So an 18-year-old pulled out in front of me, tried to make it look like, luckily there was witnesses, tried to make like she was turning, and she had a stop sign. I didn't have a stop sign, and she ended up getting a ticket. I even wrote a letter to help out getting her a ticket. That's all she got was a $148 ticket for disregarding a stop sign. But they didn't ask how I was, or my wife was with me. That's when her disability started, was that accident. She pulled out in front of me. My wife told me, I said, oh no, she didn't. I was turning that wheel this way and hit my brake with the right foot. And I managed to get my vehicle right in the middle of her PT Cruiser. There was like three girls. Come to find out, one was 18, the other on the passenger side was 17, and the girl in the back seat was 17. So if I'd have headed straight for her door, I either would have killed her or I would have crippled her. But I just, a reaction, I just spun that wheel around, holding on to my brake, and hit, and didn't even deploy the airbags. But it messed up my neck for a while. I need my neck looked at, but I have to focus on my back because you have to have co-pays here. So if I can tolerate my neck, then I'm going to tolerate it. I mean, I got a high like pain tolerance, but this back done me in from my work injury. But I'm hoping that if anybody else is going through that or knows anybody, I hope that you never get, just try not to be injured if you can help it. But yeah, I appreciate Village and Ashley and Sniper Dog. Appreciate y'all being in here. It really means a lot. I thank you so much for that. But yeah, just so much. And then going to doctors, you have to go through the whole story, and some of them you don't have to. They don't, some of them only keep your records for 7 years. But the first doctor I seen, he's done retired. The hospitals took over his records. They still got my records from when I was first injured. But but the other doctors that I've ever been to, they only keep them for like 7 years. Now, see, I would like to talk to you about your pain and stuff. Maybe I can give you tips on the clinical medical side. Come to the speakeasy sometime. Now, I don't know if you know, when I first got injured, they did the X-rays, and then they done an MRI, and then they done, let's see, I had a myelogram done, where they run dye in you, and it feels like somebody's tied concrete blocks to your legs. They done epidural blocks blindly, where they have this long needle and some kind of paper graph or something, and that made me nauseated. That was done in Bardstown in Kentucky. Had like 2 sets of them, and then after I had to start fighting workers' comp, then that put me in a predicament. So I had to find other doctors, and at that time, I don't know if they still do it. It's called the Workforce Development Cabinet, Kentucky Workforce Development Cabinet. They help people as long as they'll help you with your medical bills and stuff, as long as you're going to be able to recover and go back to work, which, come to find out, where I'm at now, not able to. Um, there was, when I first got my pump, and in 2005 was my first pain pump implant. It was in August. And it took about 9 months, and I thought I'd do something stupid like try to go back to work. And come to find out, what happens, you got a pain pump in you, and you work over so much, which I worked over the limit. I didn't know nothing about the limits at that time. I ended up having to pay $4,000 back to Social Security in small payments. And they give you a paper, and you're supposed to put it down. I was honest about what I made and stuff, and yeah, I had to pay them back $4,000. That was in 2007 and 2008. But yeah, you lose your disability, and then you don't have no pain pump refill. Then you're back to the drawing board in pain all over again. Which is like, there's been times that I've had more down times than I've had good times, which I got Facebook, and it's like a little journey, add some of it so I don't forget. If I forget something, I can go back in here and say this surgery I had done and that. And, but I had a spine cath done. That is, who knows the crystal ball reader. And they don't do it anymore. The pain doctors don't. But at that time, in 2002, it was intradisco electrotherapy. And what it is they take a needle. Let me do it this way. It's super long. You meant the kind of pain you have in the module that you have tried. Yeah, I'm explaining just like what I went through and where, they put me at, on how I ended up with that. Oh, hello, California Dreamin'. Good to see you. The California Dreamin's a really good channel. You're welcome to share your channel if you like. If y'all want your channel shared, let me know, or I'll give you a good word or something like that. But in Kentucky, they have you awake on this spine cath, but in Florida, they put you to sleep, I found out when they were doing it. And so you lay on your stomach, and this needle goes in, and it's supposed to heat up. It curves into the disc. So they done my L4, L5. And then when he went to do my, and they don't cut on you, not supposed to. So when they put the needle into my L4-5, apparently it went to curve, but apparently there was something wrong with that disc, that it hit a nerve and made my right leg jerk. And he's like, I need a scalpel. And I'm laying on my stomach, and I thought you weren't going to cut on me. And he's like, well, your L5S1, that's the second disc that they did. That's the one that hit a nerve or something, made my right leg jerk. Oh, you're welcome. I appreciate you here to support me. And he's like, your L5S1 is worse than what the MRI shows. So he had to cut and go a different way, and that lasted. I had trouble, couldn't wear pants, around the waist, very tight against my back, because it made my pain level go up. If you pushing, and it makes your whatever nerves, I don't know, whatever's going on with that. But anyway, that I was able to wear a back brace. I was able to wear pants, and it lasted I got the back brace took off like 6 weeks later. I even tried to do a desk job, because I thought, well, that was before my pump. And I even tried like doing surveys and calling and stuff. And, because like I said, I worked up until I got disabled. I wasn't lazy. I wasn't a couch potato or nothing. And I went downhill like March 2003. I couldn't sit. I couldn't do anything. The pain come back full force. And that's what I said, in 2003, I tried not, up until between us time, I didn't want pain medication. But in 2003, that I ended up basically cornered the, like I said, my wife crying, am I going to have to push you the rest of my life? I'm glad she stayed with me. I've not heard of they've never, if they did, I don't remember it, any neurolopathy diagnosis. I know the first doctor diagnosed it as mechanical pain, that they know I'm in pain, but they can't pinpoint it. And then, see, he was the only one, that first pain doctor was the only one that found tears. Because the way that we were moving the conveyor, um, I'll just pretend it's glue thing. The guy's on the other end, and I'm like, we need to set this down. I mean, it's a long, like metal conveyor. I can't get AI to like make it do like describe what happened to me, but he just let go, and my hands got tight. And it like like touching your toes or something, like when to stop, but it's like being forced, like but like you dropped the soap and Bubba come up behind you and shoved you down, but your arms are way out here, and it pulled me way past my ankles because you never know when you're working with people if they're joking, like if you tear up anything, it comes out of your check. So I'm like, oh my God, trying not to, like actually talking to God, like, oh my God, not like using his name in vain or nothing. You know, I don't need to have this took out of my check, but after it pulled and popped my back, I dropped to my knees. I'm not thinking about anything took out of my check at that point. Oh, I didn't know. I didn't start having. I never did get numbness until it lasted like 2 weeks. That's the funny thing is I had the pain in my legs, um, where your legs, like get spaghetti. It's so painful. Your legs like just kind of crumble out in front of you. See, that's the first pain doctor wanted to see me walk, and I told him that if I keep walking, I'm going to fall, and he wanted to see it for himself. And the floor didn't feel good either, so I walked back and up and down his hallway. It's like one time, two times, is probably about maybe 15 feet one way and then 15 feet back, because it's over at St. Matthew's in Louisville, Kentucky. It's a really big building, and my legs gave out and I fell and dropped to my knees and my hands. I'm like, I told you. But I understand that's good that he wanted to see it for himself, because a lot of people misdiagnose and stuff like that. But thank you for telling me that, because my brain's been like, they'll just ask you, have any numbness, tingling, or anything. But yeah, I was having numbness in my feet and right below my knees back in 2011, and that was the only time I had that. Was that numbness and stuff. I don't know what made it go away, but the other stuff didn't go away. And I apologize for not being too educated to know what that meant. STE. Yeah, STE, he's a really good guy. I forget what part of the country, what part of the world he's at, but yeah, he loves to joke around. Y'all like people that, just out there, just like joke, don't hold back, no filter. Steven's a pretty good guy. England. But yeah, I'm just happy that I'm not writhing in pain right now. I'm just happy. I'm like, why couldn't, try not to cry on here because it feels pretty good not to be in pain. Is Speakeasy like a YouTube channel or is it like an app or now? There's a funny story with my injury story or whatever. The one neurosurgeon that I seen because I went to several, um, and this was in Elizabethtown, Kentucky. All he done was wrote on the thing. My wife's like 19 years old, right? Okay, and you know how some people look younger than their age and stuff. He had me sniffing, close my eyes and sniff coffee. And then banged on my knee with a little hammer. He said, loosen up. Quit tightening your leg. And I'm like, it's loose. To do the little rubber hammer to my knee. But had me, and then on the dictation wrote, Mr. KARRY come in, says as his wife appears to be younger. What does that have to do with my injury? Oh, okay. StreamYard, it's always open. Okay, yeah, that's fine. But yeah, I can move a little bit. I mean, right now I'm feeling just a little bit of cold in my foot. But like I said, this didn't start happening until he switched me from Dilaudid to fentanyl in my pump. And I don't. Now he like I said, he dropped my medicine down in my pain pump, like cut it in half, and then the oral meds is he put in his notes for withdrawal or something like that. Apparently, with my pump not working, the burning in my chest, from what I gather, that the pump not working was putting me in withdrawals. But I can say that no matter the pain, I never went out and tried to get anything off the streets or nothing. I've done it by the book, and you know what? Going by the book hurts. But I've kept to it. I'm not done stupid stuff because I want to be better. Because there's a lot of people that goes and out on the streets and all that other stuff. No, I'm just trying to fight to be here for my family and hope that something can finally be done after, hopefully can be done after 26 years. And that neurosurgeon that I'm seeing the same day that I go to my pain doctor on the 3rd, that maybe a new surgery has come up or something. But you really think that you would do well with me? I already been through that, and I'll tell you, back in, and he won't do it. This doctor won't do it. The only reason he done it, and I'll tell you, courtship. Hey Justin, good to see you. Hey Teresa, you can teach Mustard a thing or two. He's such a tyrant. He's my tyrant. No, no, I love Muckster. That sounded gay. I really like Muckster. He's been nice to me, never held back, and has always treated me really nice. I hide the bruises so you can't see them. No, but anyway, back to what you were saying about the methadone. Um, when we went to Florida, this pain doctor, that was the funny thing. The first pain doctor, when we moved further away, I couldn't travel that far. I went to the pain doctor that I'm seen then, I'm seeing again now. He's like, oh, that pain doctor has your, and I was on, it was Dilaudid in my pump. Oh, it's too high. Or we're going to have to drop it. And oh my gosh, I started getting sick. I couldn't move. I couldn't eat. On top of the withdrawal, I was having pain. The pain that I had that pretty much, can't tolerate sitting in one of them manual wheelchair. Yeah, that's what they put me on was methadone. If you remember, I told him they put this same doctor I'm telling you about, not him, but the third one, he done the same thing as my second doctor. Oh, they got you too high, blah 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 blah. Well, I ended up he ended up uh, moving it up a little bit, but not much, and he tried to put me on the oxy by itself. 10 milligram, it didn't work, and then after about 2016 when we moved there, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, then 2022 he decides, he said, I'm going to give you an oxycodone, oxy or whatever, with a methadone. And I'm like, they tried methadone before and it didn't do any effect. And so when I tried that first time, it was like a freaking miracle. I actually could go up steps. That's how much it took the pain away. Um, I was even, my kids even got to see me play music in church. And that's the only thing I wished for, was that they'd get to see me play drums. And I was moving around and it caught up to me and my pain returned for like 2 or 3 days. And then my pain would go away again. And then, usually if you need an increase, they'll give you an increase. Well, he increased it to 15. Yeah, 15 of the oxy thing with the methadone. When he first gave me the methadone, I think it was 5. No, he gave me 10 milligrams in the methadone. But I had to break it in half, one in the morning, one in the evening. But yeah, that was like it was like a miracle. But it caught up to me where like every time I had anything pain free that I felt like I could do a lot of moving, it'd catch up to me and I'd go back downhill and either they would raise it or they wouldn't raise it and back in the wheelchair, and then more uh, more pain. There was pain free, but that period of time, it was September 2022. That was after my 4th pain pump surgery when he decided to do that. Put those two together. But by themselves, it didn't help. But the only reason the doctor that I'm seeing done it when I come back from Florida, he kept it that way, but he told me I had two choices: either rely on the pump or rely on the oral meds. And so here's the thing: the reason I chose back the pump instead of the oral meds was because when the hurricane hit Florida, that medicine that I needed that put the two together, the methadone and that was the hurricane had hit where that CVS there didn't have the medication, wouldn't have it in for 2 weeks. So that was 2 weeks of. They told my wife said just have them take Tylenol until they can get the medicine, but they didn't go above or beyond. So for 2 weeks I had to do without those, and he had my pump so low that it wasn't enough to do anything, and I was down more days than what I've like these few days that I've got now. Like it was for 2 weeks every single day. I was just hoping God would either heal me or take me, if that makes any sense. But yeah, they tried me on that. Before they done my pain pump, I had a trial period for a week. And they never changed. And for that whole week, when they first tried me for my pain pump trial period, that was in sometime in '04, because I didn't get my first pump till August. He don't want to put me. He don't want to put them together because he don't like. He only done it that one time until I needed him to increase my medicine, and I rarely ever asked for increases unless the pain wasn't going away. But he says he just don't like putting it together. But he done it that one time, and I thought he would do it again. I'm like, can you do it again? And he's like, no, you can either, at first they was going to put me on Dilaudid until they get this pump situated. And so they called pharmacies, and the only one was like 2 or 3 hours away. So that's why he decided just on the Oxy 20 milligram that I take every 6 hours. And the closest one was another path on our way home. But yeah, a lot of the pharmacies don't carry the Dilaudid because I told them, well, it helped me back in '03. As long as you took your medicine, if that makes any sense. Oh, I'm not going to another doctor. I done been to that one, that my first one, and then the one that I'm seeing now. At that time was my second, and then the third one in Florida. He he played around with it, said, "Oh, it's too high," and so I'm back to the second one again. He would be my fourth, but actually my fourth is my second one, and I'm just it's a headache because then that doctor will sit there and go, "Well, it's a little high," and then they treat you like a guinea pig. Yeah, but I'm not putting that doctor off my radar yet on talk with because I think there should be more to do something with this pump with it not doing what it's supposed to when he clearly done his machine to make it. Yeah, guinea pig. Because I've missed a lot of my daughter concert. I've only made one concert, and luckily it wasn't long. And I've missed some of my son's FAA meetings because of this, the way that it's been running and the way that my legs have gotten so bad with the burn, it like crawls up when the medicine goes. Yeah, I lost. There was one time when I was on the oral meds when I on my first pain doctor. Somehow I don't know if somebody took it or I lost it, but I lost my prescription. They used to write it, and they won't write you another prescription. So for that 30 days, I was back at the drawing board like I was before I was even on medication. In the bed, laying, moaning and groaning and twisting and turning. One of them come to God moments. And then my wife's texting me. Yeah. You don't want to share too much private information. I don't think it'll kick me off, but I don't know. I don't know if I can check something without it bumping me off. Let's see. If I bump off, I'll come back on. But let me check. I just got to answer her text real quick. Do. Let me see if it has it in the notifications. Well, I don't even know. Uh, yeah, let me make sure it don't. Let me make sure if it bumps me off, I got to check another app. I hope it don't. Hey, Izzy. I'll be right back. If I bump off, I'll come right back. I just got to answer my wife because something's happened. Nothing serious or bad. It's something that's took out that we didn't intend it on. Let me go to the app and make sure. Okay, it reconnected me. Okay, it reconnected me. I just don't see the chat. But y'all can see me, right? No. No. Hold on, it's not showing me chat or nothing. Yeah, it's not showing me chat or nothing. Do you want to stop streaming? No. Do you want to stop streaming? No. No!